Hello. Welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry, and today I'm going to talk to you about another film. It's probably one of the most divisive films in the last decade or so, or, yeah, decade. It's officially be a decade this month since its release. Part of the Alien franchise, Prometheus, starring Numi Rapace, Logan Marshall Green, Michael Fassbender, Charlize Theron, and Idris Elba, directed by Ridley Scott, in an attempt to revitalize the Alien franchise, is mostly about the story of archaeologist travels in space on the ship titled Prometheus to a mysterious planet that supposedly contains information about the origins of humanity. But when they go there, something sinister lurks regarding their origin. Now, this film was intent to be a prequel to the Alien franchise. One I was actually really excited about. And especially with Ridley Scott coming back. This was he even mentioned this is my baby. His baby. Good old Ridley Scott. Then it's a film that's is divisive. I mean, when I watched the film in theaters, I thought one, it was a visual gem. Ridley Scott knows how to craft a visually stunning science fiction film. I mean, in a total of sci-fi movies, he's only made five. He's made five science fiction films with Alien, Blade Runner, Prometheus, The Martian, and Alien Covenant. Which I could see him continuing in that genre, future down the road if he decides to, with I think the Blade Runner television series that's coming out or planned. I think he's labeled as one of the kings of science fiction stories or science fiction filmmakers in our time. Because each science fiction film he does, there's something thought-provoking and memorable about it. Either you loved it or hated it. And I think Prometheus is one of those loved or hated films. In fact, actually, when I saw the film, I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it actually kind of confused me a bit because it was billed as a Alien prequel, and there's alien imagery, but then from when I was researching it, it kept saying that this is a film on its own with alien DNA. Really, my best way to really explain what this film is basically it's a spinoff. It's a spinoff prequel to the Alien franchise where it has little to nothing to do with the xenomorphs. Like it doesn't have it. It's basically creating the origins, the birth of these xenomorphs. Supposedly, it's that. Like the movie, you experience certain events that you kind of go through what you're seeing, and it creates the origins of the xenomorph creatures in a way. There's a hybrid like xenomorph that's different from what you normally see. I think it's called known as the Deacon. That's kind of the granddaddy of xenomorphs or the origins of it. That's what the movie is. It's an origin story of the first alien created by a alien-like species that created us. Um, Again, this movie is visually stunning. Probably one of the best visual effects I've seen in any film. In the film, I do think the visual effects still holds up today. Now, there were a few decisions that I wasn't really on board with Ridley Scott with this movie. One of them is that he cut out some pretty good deleted scenes here that I think could have still made it into the film. I mean, I wouldn't have mind if the film would have been 10 to 15 minutes longer, at least 10 minutes longer, because there were some good deleted scenes that he chose to cut out. I think would have added more character development. There's a good scene I thought, and I actually know where some of these scenes fit into the film. I actually would like to re-edit the film just to put some of those scenes back. um, Newbie Pace is the standout. She's phenomenal as Shaw. I think her name is Elizabeth Shaw, who's so in love trying to find the truth of her humanity. It's you're rooting for her, but then you're kind of worried for her when it comes to what secrets that the Weyland-Yutani Corporation is hiding, because there's some fishy things going on with Charlize Theron. She's the corporate head that funded the project, and she decides to join along with them. There's a good deleted scene that happens in the film where she talks to David, her android, played by Michael Fassbender, about allowing a personnel back on the ship after he's been infected with some sort of weird alien DNA, which is mutating his body. That scene I wish they kept in. There's another scene when they're in the tunnel where it focused on one of the first two victims of the alien creatures that fall victim to it, where they lost in the tunnel. There's a scene in there where they should have kept in. Actually, there's one scene they should have kept in, but I also thought it was stupid. Where one guy just sees alien worms and he just jumps on. And he's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Okay, some of the characters do stupid things in here, so maybe that was a good thing that they cut that out. But yeah, there's some dumb things in there. But then not everyone, you can expect everyone's gonna make dumb decisions. So some of it didn't really make sense on some of the decisions that Ridley Scott chose to have these characters do just so they could get killed. I wish the writing on it was a little bit smarter. Where especially one of my favorite scenes where the alien worm comes in and grabs the dude's arm. Like that scene could have been written better. And I'm all fine with ambiguous storytelling where not much is really known, or not you're not given a lot of details about certain things about the film, because because Ridley Scott did it with the original Alien. So I'm all fine with that. I'm all fine with having no answers to what's being thrown at you. It actually makes the film more interesting. Makes it very mysterious, and you kind of want to go back and reanalyze certain hints and clues that you want to kind of figure out what's happening. Some of the deleted scenes answer barely to anything that really goes on in the film. There's a good mini fight scene that Elizabeth Shaw has with the engineers. I could kind of see why they chose to cut that out, but I wish they kept it in because it just added more intensity to the movie. And then there's another alternate scene where Sean Harris, the guy who gets the goo in his face, there's an alternate take where he's fully CGI and his body resembles an alien creature, and he's attacking the ship. I wish they used that. I understand that Ridley Scott said he wanted to capture the actors' performances doing those scenes, and I respect that. I respect that from Ridley Scott. But I think just for me, the other scene worked, and the design was a lot creepier. And I think it just made it to me, that scene would have worked a lot better. And I think there were maybe a few other deleted scenes I thought they could have kept in, but I do understand it would have slowed down the pace of the film. But to its core, this is a science fiction film. The horror element of this film kind of comes and goes. I mean, it doesn't really that old classic feel of what the original Alien was. I mean, I wish Ridley Scott kind of paid tribute a little bit more to that. I mean, where there was lack of score and music and some of the scenes that made the film more intense and interesting, like the original Alien. But I would say this: if you try to connect certain things to the original Alien, I would kind of hold off of that. Just take it as like a spinoff because there's really hardly anything that's really, unless there's future movies that's coming out. I also think the sequel, Alien Covenant, is kind of underrated. Um, but I think what the film fails at is that it's trying to find an equal balance of telling a philosophical story while telling a science fiction horror story. And I don't think Ridley Scott mashed the two together very well. One is always going to outshine more than the other. I feel like it became more of a philosophical science fiction story, and I think that's why the pacing felt slow a bit, or just the horror element to that film felt a little bit imbalanced. Because the movie was asking more questions and being more philosophical than the horror aspect of it. And I think the horror dimmed further out from what I think Ridley Scott was trying to go for. Really, if I have to really say, maybe there's maybe 2 or 3 horror scenes in here. The scene where Shaw gets self-surgery to get this alien life form out, and it's actually pretty cool. It's a cool scene. And then when they come back to that alien creature later, my jaw dropped at it. Where I guess you could say that's the closest to alien sex you're gonna get. Anime. And the scene I mentioned earlier about the two stooges that mess with some sort of worm alien, they kick the bucket. And then the scene where I think oh yeah, Sean Harris, his character's name was Fifield, where he starts attacking the ship. Yeah, all in all, I thought this was a good sci-fi movie for what it was. Ridley Scott trying to experiment with the Alien franchise and trying to do something different, and I respect that. I think I think it doesn't deserve the amount of hate that it gets from. The visual effects in here are phenomenal. Probably the best looking film from any visual effect film I've seen, like ever. And I gotta be honest, man. I think it is one of those films that will be a classic, but will remain divisive down the road. Um, I mean, you have to give respect to this filmmaker. I mean, he tried. He tries to do something different with this. Um, got the 4 disc collection, and I saw it on DVD. I saw the movie twice, to be honest with you. Come to think of it, I remember. Yeah. I remember seeing it twice. I remember I had to take the bus, I think, twice to go see this movie. Yeah. Prometheus, Ridley Scott's Alien prequel. What you think about it? What you thought about it? Write in the comment section below and let me know what you think. Do you like the film? Do you hate it? Do you think it's underrated or you think it's shit? Just let me know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.